Opinion: Aleksandar Mitrovic has had an interesting season with Fulham. However, since the turn of the year, things have really fell apart for the former Newcastle striker and his team. Up to the end of December they were still very much in contention to stay up. Mitro had scored 8 Premier League goals, and after beating Huddersfield on the 29th of December with an injury time winner from the Serbian, Fulham were only 1 point off safety. However, in 2019 they had lost 10 of their 11 matches, the exception being a 4-2 win over Brighton, Aleksandar Mitrovic getting 2 more goals and the only game he has scored in since December. Now just waiting to go down, Fulham fans have been debating the merits of Mitro and whether or not they should sell him for £40 million in the summer to help fund a promotion push. Rafa Benitez and Salomon Rondon end up in the discussion as well. Fulham fans comment via their top friends of Fulham and Fulham web message boards. Interesting snippet in the Times that if we're relegated and Mitro decides to go, we'd ask for £40 million. He has 4 years left on his contract and no release clause. Also says that Sari, MLEM and Shurla have relegation pay cuts built into their contracts and would want to go. I would not want to see Mitro leave, but we can cover for the loss of the other 3, although Sari has something about him, but maybe too lightweight for the rigors of the championship. Mitro is premiership quality, and let's face it, if we'd have managed to stay up, bigger clubs would be in for him and we'd be starting a second season without him. Take the profit, now keep the rest unless we can recoup fee and wages and see if we can find another goal scorer to get us out of the championship. Last time we went down there were wholesale changes and that nearly saw us drop twice in 2 seasons. Mitro is a fine player, but it is totally unproven he is plays quality. He has been pretty average this season and does not look fit enough. £40 million. That is 6 decent C-ship players. As a thank you for last season, if Mitro really desperately wanted to leave, I would hope we allow him to. My understanding is Tottenham already offered £43 million for Mitro, £27 million for Fulham and the £16 million for Mitro over 5 years, in the winter transfer window. If he really wants to go now, he can take the pay cut to £3 million, so Fulham get £40 million. If I was Mitrovic, I'd hang around at least half a season, because if we are mid-table Fulham will be happy to sell him without a pay cut. So was Rafa right to offload Mitro and replace him with a cheaper centre-forward? Rondon seems to have fitted quite nicely into Newcastle's system, not only contributed more goals, his all-round team play is quite impressive. You have to be up early to get the better of Rafa. Having said that, we did so well against Newcastle and look what happened. Read them and us. Now that's a risk-free manager if ever there was one. He gets every ounce of ability out of his players and moves then on if they don't comply. He has plan A, B, C and D. Might be a little dull sometimes, but Newcastle fans adore him. He is worth at least 15 points a season to that club. Our overrated centre-forward has been carried all season. Fulham have been playing with 10 men in most of their games. He does not press or chase for the ball. He is clearly too lazy for modern-day football. Yes, he has scored a few times this season, but he has failed his teammates. McDonald could have done a better job at centre-forward and worked harder. Anyway, well done to all the others who have tried their best, not been at his best last few games. Lack of pace a worry, but carrying him all season very harsh. Works hard up front on own. So last season Mitro was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and now according to you, the bread's gone stale. What absolute rubbish. Even Sane wouldn't be able to score goals with little or no support up front. Mitro has scored 10 goals this season, and that is remarkable in this setup, and whatever we do next season, we must not let him go, as he will be a real handful for any championship defense, and without him we could be in real trouble up front. I have argued these points about Mitro all season. Fair enough, he is the hold-up man, he is up front on his own, no pace, etc., etc. The cheap option was to keep hold of Kamara. Parker doesn't like Kamara, and most fans don't like him. Jan window has come and gone. We should have solved that problem and get a pace man in, but we messed up yet again. We taken another player Markovic with an injury. Every week we are trying to get the ball up to Mitrovic and Mitrovic is trying his best to turn and shoot. We've tried Sessegnon on left and right to service balls in. Christie, a waste of time. Vieto miss a lot. Babel is our bestest buy, but at age 34, is sometimes on it and other times not so on it, age taken into account. I would love Mitro to stay in Championship but I doubt he will, a sad state of affairs. Even old man Defoe would have been good for 4 or 5 goals but we didn't even inquire or show interest. We get what we deserve and we are where we are because we have numpties running our club. His dip in form has been since Jokanovic moved on. I imagine having a manager that spoke your language was probably a bit of a father figure means a lot. Then he gets lumbered with Ranieri who didn't know how to get anything out of him, probably didn't make him feel as important as he was, and the lack of service has to be a major factor. I think he will leave in the summer. We should get at least £30 million for him, but we'll probably let him go on loan or something stupid like that. Let him go and bring in Che Evans from Birmingham and Charlie Austin from Southampton. Mitro and Babel would do well in tandem if they only got any service. They don't. Anguissa, Seri, McDonald, Vieto all missing in action every game, and that's one of the main problems and a heavy burden Mitrovic has to bear. Losing his friend and mentor under dubious circumstances definitely hasn't helped. The worry over Charlie Austin is his fitness. We don't need any more propping up the injury list. Even though I have some doubts about the pace of Mitrovic, he does play week in and week out. Will Charlie Austin give us that? Zaha played lone striker in Championship and Premier League. Probably a bit unfair but no comparison to Mitro. Zaha went on to win the World Cup and banked around $10 million for Fulham before picking up Premier League titles and Champions League. Doubt Mitro could touch him. Zaha was an excellent player, so was Pelé, but we don't have either. We do have Mitrovic and I really hope we can keep him. Why slag off Mitrovic? From what I see, he is not getting the service when the midfield is bogged down and helping the defense, and when there is a breakaway Mitrovic is on his own. Not easy with the team very low on confidence. Mitro overrated and being carried by the team? Seriously? If you were a season ticket holder, George I suggest you apply for a location change. That must be some restricted view you have there. Hope we can cash in on Mitro. Sad to see him go. The rest can go ASAP, including Seri. I love Mitro, but if you get $40 million for him you can bring in a quality replacement striker with a bit more pace. Mitrovic hasn't done a lot for a while now and it may seem good business to cash in on him come the end of the season. But just stop and think, there just isn't a replacement in sight, and remember how we were struggling for a striker before he arrived. Benitez was right, Mitro is not a place striker. He has some strengths, but at this level the defenders are big, strong and mobile, something Mitro struggles with. He will play a tune for us again next season in the Championship, but if someone wants to offer £40 million then we should bite their hand off. For me, even if Mitro is not top 4, he is good Premier League standard.